Good morning, my friend. It is Saturday. It is May the 5th, Cinco de Mayo. I gotta start this over. My throat is ridiculous. Good morning, my friend. It's Saturday, May the 5th, Cinco de Mayo. It's 5:25 a.m. My name is Aaron Schlein, and this is the 24 Hours of Action, where for 24 straight days, I am dedicating exactly 1 hour to my goal of creating consistent, valuable content across a variety of platforms. 24 Hours of Action is just a daily peek inside my goal of creating content where the emphasis is on consistency and action, not perfection. Every day I'm dedicating that 1 hour of action to creating a podcast episode, a blog post, and a YouTube video. And we're almost halfway through this 24 Hours of Action. This is hour 11. Tomorrow we'll hit the halfway mark officially. And it's kind of crazy. I can't believe it's been 11 days. I've been sitting right here in this chair every morning between the hours of 4:45 and 5:45 a.m. almost without fail. I had 2 days where I screwed up due to technical difficulties or just due to my own lack of focus, which is quite frankly one of the reasons I'm doing this in the first place is really to sharpen that focus. I did have one day where I just completely went off the rails. And if you go back and listen to the previous episodes of the 24 Hours of Action, you'll hear all about it because I do share all. This is a peek behind the curtain of my process. And sometimes the process doesn't always go smoothly, and I'm sharing it all. That's the point of this, is to give you that real-time look into me working towards a goal. And that goal is creating consistent, valuable content for you. If you haven't already, please head over to 24 Hours of Action. Jump on that email list, and I do share even more behind-the-scenes peeks at my process, the little things that go on every morning and beyond. I'm building up a bit of a library and been sharing that out just in little dribs and drabs, but there's plenty more to come, and I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. And also get on that email list, and you'll have a direct line to me to suggest topics or comments that I will even read on the air. If this can be, is this called on the air in a podcast? I don't know. I'm not sure if that's acceptable to use that term on the air. I'm on the screen right now. The only people who are hearing this are me and my dog, who's laying right next to me, who's with me every single morning. And she's also, I take a selfie with my dog every morning, and I post that in the blog post, the daily blog post that accompanies each episode of the 24 Hours of Action. Today, so kind of on that theme of just being here every day, there's been neither hell nor high water, but just overcoming whatever challenges and obstacles it takes to get here every morning. Just the art of showing up every day. That's what we're going to be talking about today. And I want to send a special shout out to someone from my email list. Nancy Papineau from Canada, Quebec, Canada, sent me a really nice note yesterday. She said, it's very nice reading your blog every day. I feel like I'm getting to know you. And that's really exactly the point of this, is to help us get to know each other better and give you a peek behind my process. And every single episode is all about one little actionable piece of advice that you can use in your daily life to advance your goals and hopefully improve your life in some way. That's the point of this whole activity. I'm not just sitting here talking to hear the sound of my own voice. I'd prefer, I think, to hear the sound of my own snoring. I'd be in bed if it was just a matter of me just up entertaining myself. That's not the point. The point is to provide consistent and valuable content for you every single day. So Nancy, thanks for that note. Really appreciate it. So glad you're listening, and it's nice to know you're out there. Love the feedback, and definitely hit up that email list, 24 Hours of Action, and let me know what you think. And I'd be happy to stay in touch and possibly even read your question on the podcast and give you a shout out. Really appreciate it. So showing up every day, it's very simple, but in my opinion, it's underutilized. I pulled a quote The quote is attributed to Woody Allen, but these days you never really know who really said it. But the quote that matters: 80% of success is just showing up. And showing up means doing what you say you're going to do and just being there to try to move whatever goal, whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, that you show up to work towards accomplishing that goal every day. That consistency and that action is really the key. Because if you look around, if you really take the time to consider how many people there are in this world and how many ideas there are in this world just floating around there, 7+ billion people, there's a lot of ideas, a lot of cool things that people would like to do. And a lot of them are probably very good ideas. But if you don't have that piece, that action piece, where people actually, one, take action, that initial action towards a goal, whatever it is, taking that initial action is huge. But then taking action, continuing to take action day after day after day. And if you show up day after day after day, those days, that action that happens over the course of any given day is going to add up to a lot. And there's rarely going to be that one day that just, shakes up the world and changes your life. But it's that combination of showing up and moving that needle just a little bit day after day after day. And podcasting is a great example. I'll share a quick statistic about podcasting that is relevant to this showing up concept. The average podcast, and I mean average, this is across every podcast ever created since the beginning of time, which isn't that far back in podcasting time. The average podcast lasts 7 episodes, and then it fades into the darkness. Why is that? Most people, I'm setting out with this just to do 24 episodes and then that's it. Maybe there's people out there who set out to just do 7 episodes and that was their whole goal and they hit it. That's great. I don't think that's the case for most podcasts. I think the objective is to produce far more than 7 episodes, but the average, that's the mean, typical podcast, 7 episodes and then no further. People stop showing up. Whether it's people expecting, instant gratification or immediate results. Hey, I'm going to release 1 or 2 podcasts and I'm going to go on to be a big star. Unrealistic expectations, first of all. But it's also, you're not expecting, you're not having the right expectation of yourself, that you're going to be able to show up consistently for an audience that you're hoping to build. And once you've established that relationship with an audience of any size, and the expectation of you becomes that you're going to release a podcast or that you're just going to show up in some way. And if you fail to do that, you've broken a trust with an audience that you've worked really hard to build. And this can apply to anything. I'm using podcasting as an example because this is a podcast. But I also think it's a very relevant example of when you look at success stories in podcasting. You look at their back catalog of episodes, hundreds often of back episodes of a podcast before it starts to gain some real traction. Now, I'm not talking about people who already have a platform, people who already have some level of celebrity. Oh, hey, I'm going to also start this podcast. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about people like me who had no platform and said, hey, look, I have this message that I want to get out to the world. I have this audience that I want to speak to. I'm going to start a podcast. That first day, that first month, even that first year, when you're putting out episodes, you're gaining a little bit of traction every day, but it's slow going and it is a marathon, not a sprint. And I think you can absolutely apply that to a lot of goals, because the overnight success concept is really a fallacy, or it's just that occurs so infrequently, yet that can be the goal, because that's what we see. We see these people who are apparently, or people who appear to be overnight successes. They're not. They worked really hard day after day. They showed up consistently. They took consistent action to move their goal forward, whatever that goal happens to be. And that's what I want you to do too, my friends. Focus on that goal, whatever it is, and show up and show up every day. I have a football expression that I like to use for myself. If you're not a football fan, you can come up with something else, but I call it completing the catch. And I say it to myself all the time, and it applies to small little tasks, and it can apply to giant, overwhelming goals. Just complete the catch. If you start something, you've opened a loop. And to complete the catch, you got to close that loop. If you say you're going to show up for something, like I'm showing up for 24 hours of action, that loop is open and the ball's in the air. I got to bring it in. I got to complete the catch. And in order to feel as though I've done everything I could to accomplish that goal, and it's just little things day after day after day. So complete the catch, my friends, and head over to 24hoursofAction.com, get on the email list. I'm going to leave you right there for this beautiful Saturday. Well, it's beautiful here in Sacramento, California. Is it beautiful where you are? Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. All right, my friends, Aaron Schlein signing off for today. We'll talk again tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be Sunday, hour 12. We're going to hit the halfway point of the 24 hours of action. See you there. Bye.